Hello everyone, this is Garrett Lee, and this is my film review and critique video for Fine Arts Films midterm review. Um, the film that I chose to watch for this review was the classic horror Jaws. Uh, Everyone knows Jaws, giant shark, man-eating shark, terrorizes a town, kills a couple of people, makes a bunch of other people much more afraid of sharks now. The movie was released in 1975, specifically, I think, June or July of 1975, height of summer. And it takes place in the tourist attraction town called Amity Island, which is located in some undisclosed location in New England. Um, the main characters in the story is a sheriff whose name is Sheriff Brody. Um, the old salt, Quint, in which they will go and hire to try and kill the shark, and he's the man's name is Hooper, and he's like some sort of marine biologist, and he really likes enjoying studying sharks. Uh, Basically, a brief summary of the movie. So, right off the bat of the movie, there is a shark that eats this woman who swam too far into the ocean, and that kind of puts the sheriff in a state of uneasiness. And this is also happening directly during the height of summer, when most of the tourists comes to this island, and that's where a bunch of the island gets their money. I mean, this is like a tourist destination town in which most of the profit comes from visitors looking to spend a nice day at the beach. Only problem is that there's a shark, a really big shark, roaming around killing people. But of course, there's the belligerent mayor who says, this is our and this is our only way to make money. We're not closing down the beaches for any sharks. And that leads to another consequence. A young boy is then eaten by the shark. And then after that happens, and there's a panic at the beach, it kind of gives the main cast incentive to go and hunt down the shark. So maybe not like a whole half, but a majority of the second half of the movie is Brody, the sheriff, Quint, the old sailor Salt, and Hooper, the marine biologist, going track and killing the shark. At the end of the movie, Quint is eaten. Hooper is almost killed because he's in a shark cage, and Jaws almost gets him through that. And Brody, and there's kind of a climax scene in which it's pretty popular, in which like there's a big CO2 oxygen tank that slides into the shark's mouth, and then Brody picks up his rifle and says, "Smile, you son of a," and then shoots, and then the shark proceeds to explode, and it's great. So that's a little bit about the movie. So the topic this film most directly fits would probably be the rebirth of horror in cinema, which took place in like around the Cultural Revolution, 60s, 70s. It was kind of a time period in which filmmakers were really kind of pushing the boundaries on what they could do with horror films, like how gory they can make it, how bloody it can be, how much of a reaction they can get from the audience themselves. And Jaws really doesn't spare any expense when meeting these qualities, because they're right off the bat, like within the first 5 minutes of a movie, there is a woman who went skinny dipping into the ocean at night, and she gets eaten like immediately. Same goes with the boy. Like, they show the boy getting eaten by the shark, and there's this blood, and I mean, they did a fantastic job. It's Steven Spielberg, and he's one of the greatest directors of all times, and this has got to be one of his best works. Um, but they spare no expense when it comes to the gore and when it comes to the shock value that they're trying to make a point to their audience. Um, because again, they're trying. The goal of the movie was to get a good reaction of it, but from what I've read about the movie during the time of its release, it actually did manage to terrify people about sharks and going into the ocean. Hello. Oh, hey, okay. And yeah, and so the filmmaker's goals was accomplished by that. They got the reaction they wanted, and with good reason, because like the blood and gore and that sort of factors in a lot into the movie, but not enough to where it's just like a stereotypical like blood fest, type of horror. There's a really good story plot to the movie. It's a very good classic to watch, but it follows that kind of rebirth of horror into account very well. Personally, I thought the movie was great. The cinematography was great. Um, Even like subtle things that if you really pay attention to the movie, like um, they make the movie very surreal. They make it seem it could happen. Obviously, I mean it's not. You can sort of tell it's like a prosthetic mechanized shark or however they made it. Um, but other than that, it was a very well made movie. I think it's a classic that everybody should have the chance to see. Um, but that's my final critique analysis about the movie. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I look forward to discussing with you all in our further weekly lectures to come. Have a nice one.